I rose him up from nothing. I will not kneel before some barefooted common and beg his forgiveness.
Full disclosure guys, as intelligently as she used this law, keep in mind that Cersei is an evil character, not someone you should ever aspire to become. We will cover her in the King, Warrior, Lover, Magician series as well. Keys to power. Emotional control is of crucial importance in the realm of power. As I've mentioned 100 times and will most likely mention another 1,000 times. But why? Listen, you have to be able to separate yourself from your persona, your mask. If you identify who you are with who you portray to be, that is when you are like a bleeding fish surrounded in an aquarium full of starving sharks. You'll be shredded and eaten like supper. But Cheyenne, I don't want to appear different than I am who I am. I'm always the same person. I don't wear masks. Wrong. So fucking wrong. Listen, I get what you mean. Trust me, I get it. And I feel the same repulsion if someone said, portray yourself differently. It questions our very existence. It eats us away from the inside and it destabilizes our sense of reality. It feels as if you're being inauthentic. You know what? If I dive into this, we will diverge too much from this law. If you want me to elaborate on this, let me know in the next Patreon meeting, as it teaches the importance of true leadership for the betterment of everyone. So I'll park that here. The reason you want emotional control and control over your mask is because when someone is in a stronger position than you do not want to overreact.
You're afraid of me.
Because it's that overreaction that creates problems that could be avoided. It also antagonizes the enemy, leading them to overreact as well.
Afraid of you.
And when you're the weaker one, it will prove fatal to you.
Sorry. You're fired.
Come on.
No, he's not.
Oh, you gonna overrule me on that too?
You can go. I had a deal that put your name right next to mine. And it wasn't even up there yet, and you started acting like it was on top of mine.
To protect you.
Bullshit. This wasn't about protecting me. This was about advancing you.
You're afraid of me.
Afraid of you? Boy, I just kicked your ass. And you didn't just want it, you begged me for it. So now, you're going to stay here, be humble, and learn your goddamn place.
If you're nice, I might let you avoid being humiliated in court.
You're the one who's going to be humiliated. If you go to court, that's what everyone's going to see.
What do you want?
30 million. And I want it written in the settlement that Louis Litt is the superior lawyer to Xander Epstein.
No way.
Yeah, way.
You're really that petty?
You can bury it in the fine print if you want. You can put it in Latin if you want. But it's going in there. And you're always going to know it's there.
If that's what it takes to make you whole, then we have a deal. But one thing. When I get home tonight, remember who's waiting for me. She's gonna cook me dinner, she's gonna rub my feet, she's gonna tell me she loves me, and we are never gonna think of you again. Well, maybe on our 50th wedding anniversary, we'll laugh about the guy she almost ended up with. If we can even remember your name.
Now it's 50 million. And that's take it or leave it.
Robert Greene writes, the next time someone pushes you and you find yourself starting to react, try this. Do not resist or fight back, but yield. Turn the other cheek, bend. You will find that this often neutralizes their behavior. They expected, even wanted you to react with force, and so they are caught off guard and confounded by your lack of resistance. By yielding, you in fact control the situation, because your surrender is a part of a larger plan to lull them into believing they have defeated you. This is the essence of the surrender tactic. Inwardly you stay firm, but outwardly you bend. If you get emotional, remind yourself that you only appear to surrender, like the animal that plays dead to save its hide. And friends, what is the one thing I try to instill in every single one of you? Exactly. You don't want to appear powerful at all times, but you want to be powerful at all times. By surrendering and playing dead, you are the one in control. By surrendering and taking a hit on your ego is sometimes the superior tactic versus fighting. Robert Greene also explains that when you are faced with a more powerful opponent and a sure defeat, it is often also better to surrender than to run away. But why is this the case? Well, by running away, you'll be safe for the time being, but the aggressor will eventually catch up with you. If you surrender instead, you have an opportunity to crawl around your enemy and strike with your fangs from up close. This law goes perfectly hand in hand with Law 15, crush your enemies totally. Observance of the law. In the year 473 BC, in ancient China, King Guzhan of Yu suffered a horrible defeat from the ruler of Wu in the Battle of Fujiao. The king wanted to run away from the battle, but his trusted advisor told him to, instead of fleeing, it was better to surrender and serve the ruler of Wu. This seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? It seems even suspicious that your trusted advisor tells you to surrender. But here was the advisor's sound reasoning. Surrender and study the man from up close. Once you've gathered enough information and the time is right, you can plot your revenge. After deliberation, King Guzhan decided to follow the advice and therefore gave the ruler all of his riches and went to work under him as the lowest of the lowest of servants. 3 years, let me repeat, 3 years he humbled himself before the ruler, who then, finally satisfied with his loyalty, allowed him to return home. Inwardly, however, former King Guzhan had spent those 3 years gathering information and plotting his revenge. He had his plan now, but the time was not right. The enemy was still too strong. But when a terrible drought struck Wu and the kingdom was weakened by inner turmoil, the former king raised an army, prepared them for battle, then finally invaded and won that battle with ease. And that, my friend, that is the true power behind surrendering. It gives you the time and flexibility to plot a devastating counterblow. Had Guzhan run away, he would have lost this chance. There are 3 takeaway messages, no, advantages that this law provides you. But before we get into those 3 things and the rather interesting reversal of this law, friends, real quick, I want to thank every single one of you for the great support throughout these videos. Every like and comment you place helps a lot with growing the channel. Right now, I'm juggling with this YouTube channel along with writing my thesis since I'm in the last year of university and also with me working in a dental practice. So I'm grateful for you patiently waiting for the videos. After I graduate, I'll set up a system that will enable me to upload new videos once in every 2 weeks, if not once a week. If you want to support me and the channel more, you can do a couple of things. First is go buy the book. I mean, the author has put a lot of effort and energy into it. And if you're gonna buy it anyway, you can buy it via the affiliate link that I provide in the description, and that way you help me as well. The second thing you can do to support me is becoming a Patreon member, which will give you access to, first of all, your name coming on these videos, and second, provide exclusive content to you. Another little note you'll like, I highly recommend you to watch the movie Tenet. It's mind-blowing and extremely satisfying for your sophisticated mind.
How? You have a future in the past.
Besides that, you'll also be able to observe a subtle variation of this law among a couple of other laws. I'll include short pieces of it in this video. For the people who are new here, the goal of this channel is to provide you tools and strategies that you can implement in your life so you can achieve your desired goals and dreams in an ethical manner. Even more importantly, to maximize your potential. If that is something that resonates with you, consider subscribing. Let's continue with the video. So, what are the 3 advantages of surrendering? The first one, you'll get access to your enemies. Second, it gives you time to recover and then plot devastating counterblows. Essentially, it might give you an opportunity to keep yourself in the game. And third one, you get the chance to mock your enemies by being overly compliant. By the way guys, this is also one of the weapons you need to have in your arsenal of verbal dominance. Not only is it a tool that increases your capacity to fend off verbal attackers, but the same tool can be used to make communication more pleasant and serves as an aid to becoming more humorous around humorful people. It is a great tool for adaptation. And if you don't get it right now, don't worry, separate videos on that will be made. Robert Greene writes, power is always in flux, since the game is by nature fluid and an arena of constant struggle. Those with power almost always find themselves eventually on the downward swing. If you find yourself temporarily weakened, the surrender tactic is perfect for raising yourself up again. It disguises your ambition, it teaches you patience and self-control, key skills in the game, and it puts you in the best possible position for taking advantage of your oppressor's sudden slide. If you run away or fight back, in the long run you cannot win. If you surrender, you will almost always emerge victorious. Reversal of the law. As said in point 2, the essence and goal of surrendering is to keep you in the game long enough and enable you to strengthen your position, as we saw with Cersei and King Gul'dan. It is precisely to avoid martyrdom that one surrenders, but there are times when the enemy will not relent. Then you can make a kamikaze attack, an attempt to take the other person down with you, or become an inspiration and set the tone for other people to follow your cause. Now, what does this mean? Why would anybody die with you? I'm not talking about dying in the literal sense here. At least, that's not how I interpret it. So let me make this concrete like this. I spoke to a guy a couple of days ago. He told me how he felt that he was underpaid by his former employee and then got fired for it. My interpretation of the situation, which I haven't told him, is as following, which serves as a very probable example. He felt underpaid, so he decided to take a stance and threatened to quit. He hoped he'd get a raise in return. He made sure everyone around him on the work floor was on the same page, if not banding together, and this made him more powerful to the employer. However, the employer couldn't keep a man like that around. I mean, would you? So I presume that's why he got fired. Now, what's the point, and what has this got to do with the reversal of this law? Here is a bit of information that I left out. After he got fired, everyone else around him got the raise. So instead of surrendering, he committed a form of kamikaze or martyrdom, even though his position got killed, but this enabled other people to walk away as well, and the employer could not have this happen. Hence, all the others got a raise. Regardless of this, guys, he didn't get to enjoy the fruits of his own tactic. He didn't get to enjoy the power of the reversal of this law. Robert Greene advises to not use the reversal of this law. He states, when power deserts you, it is best to ignore this law's reversal. Leave martyrdom alone. The pendulum will swing back your way eventually, and you should stay alive to see it. A perfect way to end this video, and always remember the lessons from this law by picturing an oak tree. Why? As Robert Greene eloquently has put it, the oak that resists the wind loses its branches one by one, and with nothing left to protect it, the trunk finally snaps. The oak that bends lives longer, its trunk grows wider, its roots deeper and more tenacious. Classy.